morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming on a Saturday morning. A house full today is a wonderful sign of everyone's commitment. During the course of today, you will hear of this concept of the triple benefits of investing in adolescent health. And that's real and that's tangible. It's, the health of the adolescent herself, the health of her when she becomes a mother, and subsequently for when she has a child at an age when she is physically and emotionally ready for it. Those are given and those are tangible. But I want to talk to you and extend that a little further, because there are a whole host of additional bonus benefits that you get if you invest in adolescents. We know, and it's been proven all over the world, that education reduces violence. The more years you can keep girls in school, the more years you're able to establish gender norms between boys and girls, there is a reduction in physical and domestic and sexual violence. We also know that the more you invest in adolescents, health and otherwise, one really stubborn and worrying economic indicator of the country, which is female labor force participation, can shift. It's right now at one quarter of the population. We're struggling for growth, we're struggling for prosperity, we're struggling to lift people out of poverty, and yet 25% or 24% at female labor force participation means that you're running this economy with one hand tied. And the third is that investing in adolescents, they are the constituency of the future. And I don't just mean political constituency. They are the new consumer class of the future. They're the new social class of the future. If we are able to invest in them now, we set the foundations for the future. So that's the big strategic reason why we should be investing in them. Kanchan spoke about it and right up front. And I'm not going to get into the statistics because you have the booklets in front of you and all of you know the numbers. Teenage pregnancies at the rate that they are right now are a national emergency. And we should be investing them as amongst the single biggest priorities in the health and beyond system. Not just because of the fact that they are teenage pregnancies, but because of the underlying reasons that allowed the number to get to where it is right now. Inequality, lack of education, lack of choices, child marriage, we can go on and on. And there needs to be different packages and acknowledgement that teenage pregnancies happen both in marriage and outside marriage. It's very, very easy for us to kind of blindside ourselves to think of it only as an in-marriage problem because it's politically less sensitive. The statistics are out there, the reality is out there. A field visit tells you what is going far clearer. And on this matter, I want to just try and see if I have three myths in my mind. Two I think I have an answer for, one I don't. The first is the propensity to think that we can somehow legislate or prosecute our way out of this problem. You need good laws, you need strong laws, you need effective laws, you need implementation, you need, victim support. But you're not going to be able to prosecute or legislate your way out of something as deeply entrenched as child marriage or early pregnancy. And so think of laws as one important part of it, but only one part of it. Think of laws as setting precedent, sending messages, sending signals, but not the solution for the problem. When you come to laws, as far as teenagers are concerned, there is one nagging issue, which is the inherent conflict that is there between medical termination of pregnancy and POCSO. It gets talked about once in a while whenever there's a conference, and after that we don't talk about it, but it is causing absolute mayhem on the ground, and the implications on girls especially is heartbreaking. and it is something that a solution needs to come for. It is not the most difficult legal, complexity to unlock. It just needs someone to do it. The second is that the provision of life skills is somehow contradictory to our values. And I have two or three things to say on that. One is that it is eminently possible to provide life skills which are culturally sensitive, which are fit for purpose, which are fit for age of child, which are fit for state and region that you might. It is eminently possible to do that, and there are multiple examples of doing that. The Ministry of Health's leadership, I know that PFI and their Satya toolkit and UNICEF as well and UNFP have all contributed to that. We can do it. If we did not do it, though, what happens? There's this big bad beast out there called the internet. It's not that boys and girls are not getting information. It's not that if we choose not to talk to them, they somehow won't find out. They will find out, and they are finding out faster, and they are finding out far less, in a far less healthy manner. There are so much research that is coming out there about the link between the kind of pornography that you're watching and your propensity to engage in sexual violence. That link is there. There is so much research that is telling you that all of the information that you're receiving is coming from the internet in a completely unregulated and uncurated manner. And so I urge everyone to see how we can build it out in a culturally sensitive context. The third one, and that is the myth which I don't have an answer for, and I don't even know if it's a myth or not, it's a social norm reality, is the urgency to prove fertility. It is one of those things which is an almost unstoppable driving force the moment a child or indeed anyone gets married. And we have to figure out what tools that are at our disposal to somehow land the message equivalent to a healthy baby is more precious than a quick baby. And don't use my line, I'm not an advertising copy guy, but that is the myth that we're going to have to break, because otherwise the kind of forces that are facing a young girl right now are just, she's not going to be able to fight it on her own. What therefore is the package of measures that we can do for adolescent girls? We spoke about RKSK. Lots of people have lots of views about lots of government programs. Everything can be done better. But on RKSK, there are two things which appear to be the most critical and can be fixed. The first is, and anybody who has a teenager in their lives, as your child or as a cousin or a nephew know, you have to talk to teenagers in teenage language. You're not going to be able to talk to them like adults. They zone out, they switch off, they move on to other things, they get put off. The RKSK package has to talk to teenagers in an aspirational manner, in a manner which they can identify with. The second is the assumption that adolescents are going to hunt RKSK clinics and find them is not valid. We have to get RKSK to the adolescents rather than assume that adolescents are going to come to RKSK. The second is that for adolescents or anybody married early, there are a number of interventions that are there but have not yet been scaled up to the extent that need to be done. How about us talking about financial planning to families who have just gotten married and telling them the economic benefits of waiting a year or 2 years or 3 years until the girl is ready? How about us expanding government programs like the injectable contraceptives, which give you a bigger time of protection? I'm going to end with just one thing, which is I don't have the answer to a healthier baby is more precious than a fast baby, but that appears to be at one of the root causes for us needing, for us intervening as far as adolescent health are concerned. Thank you very much.